Hello to all my story lovers. Welcome back in Storytime channel. I'm Pallavi reading interesting stories for you. Today I'm reading chapter number 12, The Gift of Sacrifice, written by the great Sudha Murty and taken from the book The Day When I Stopped Drinking Milk. Now let's go through it. During my tenure as a professor, Rajiv was one of my computer science students. Before ending each class, I told my students stories related to our country's history. Some students liked to hear them, and some did not. Rajiv was not interested in history at all, so I asked him, "Tell me your concept of history and how your generation thinks." He said, "History is a dead subject of the past that gives us information about dead people and incidents. It is a chronology of events which is of no use today. I really feel that it is a waste of time." Rajiv, when you go abroad for work or education, how do you interact with other people? How do you know what they say and they mean and vice versa? I ask. Oh, you should know the people with whom you interact. If you want to know people, you should know the history of their land and where they come from. History also tells you about culture, and culture is a big part of people's personalities. How do you say that? If you join me for one of my tours, I promise that at the very least you will be convinced that you need to keep an open mind. During one of my upcoming trips, I was planning to travel to a small town. There was a village near this town. Prakash, one of my ex students, was now a senior manager in a software company, and I knew that he was from that village. When Prakash learned that I was traveling to the town, he called me up and said, "Ma'am, instead of staying in the town, why don't you stay in my house in the village? It is only 30 kilometers away. My parents are staying alone there, and they will be very happy to see you. Since you are interested in history, they will also take you around." I thought of Raju and asked him if he would like to come with me. Raju agreed and happily accompanied me. I finished my work in the town and left for Prakash's village. By the time we reached, it was evening, but it was not dark. Prakash's father, Madappa, and mother, Parvati, were waiting for us. They said, "Please relax at home. Our maid has made nice snacks for you. There is a warm water in the bathroom. We will be back in an hour." I noticed they were dressed to go out. They were ready with a thali containing a coconut, a garland, a diya, and other small items, and I understood that they were going somewhere to perform a puja. I assumed they were going to a temple and said, "Oh, if you are going to a temple, please wait a minute. I will change my sari and join you." Hesitantly, they said, "It is not a really temple, but it is like a temple to us. It is our family's worship site. Prakash might have told you about it." I could not contain my curiosity. Yes, Prakash told me that you will take me to a special historical place. Is this the same place? When they nodded, Raju also got ready and both of us accompanied them. The worship site was at the outskirts of the village. There were fields of all around us, and we entered one of them. Green paddy was growing on all sides, but this field had only vegetables. There was a large neem tree in the field. Its shade covered most of the field. Below the tree, there was a large slab of stone standing on the ground. The lower part of the slab was buried deep in the soil. There were many stone benches all around for people to come and relax there. I noticed a tap in the corner. Madappa and Parvati washed their feet and face with tap water. With curiosity, Rajiv and I also did the same. Then Madappa took a jug of water and started washing the slab, and Parvati got busy lighting a lamp nearby. I started paying attention to the details of the slab. It was approximately 5.5 feet tall and 2 feet wide, and the top looked like an arc. The slab had a beautiful border, and its 5 horizontal compartments contained some amazing carvings. The first compartment contained an inscription. In the second compartment, on the right side, there was an image of a man with sword sitting on a horse, and on the left there was a man on a foot who was only carrying a stick. I could see that the man with the stick was wearing a viragase, which is a dress worn in village. He had shoulder length hair. He was angry and stood in a ready to attack position. There was an image of cow behind him. In the third compartment, 4 women with wings were flying with a palkin while a man was sitting inside. I noticed the clouds in the background, the smile on the women's faces, and their saris with waistbands. In the fourth compartment, a man was sitting on a throne. On the other side were 2 women fanning him. The women wore jewelry and had tied their hair in a big bun. I could see the intricate designs of their bangles, chains, anklets, and saris. In the fifth and the last compartment, there was an Ishwara Linga with a half moon on one side and a sun on the other. There was a Nandi or a bull in the front, and a devotee was sitting with folded hands behind it. What is this? Why are you performing puja here? Asked Rajiv. Madappa replied, this is a Viragalu, a stone that depicts Vellore. Gopala Gola, the cowherd, was our forefather. This is his story and his gift to us. I don't understand, said Raju. Madappa did not talk further and started the puja. After the puja, we all sat on the benches and Madappa started telling us the story. Gopala Gola was a young cowherd. He was around 25 years old and the only child to his parents. He had lost his father when he was very young. Gopala was recently married and his wife was pregnant. He was very happy with his 10 cows. He liked to graze them near the hillock and enjoyed his peaceful life. One day, while he was playing the flute and grazing his cows, a soldier came riding on a horse. He stopped and dismounted from the horse. He gave Gopala Gaula a silk cover and said, "There is an urgent message inside. Enemies are following me. If you can go across the river and give this to the captain of our force, you will save the country. The captain is waiting below the neem tree. Since you are not a soldier, nobody will suspect that you are carrying this message." Without waiting to hear back from Gopala, the soldier mounted his horse and galloped away. Gopala did not know what to do. He was a simple cowherd and did not know anything about the how the kingdom was ruled or defended. But he knew one thing. Occasionally enemy troops came and took away cows from the village. During these incidents, the king's soldiers came to protect the village and fought with the enemy troops. They were normally victorious. Initially, Gopala thought about ignoring the soldier and doing nothing. He did not want to get into this mess. Then he thought that if he did not deliver the message, the enemy might win and occupy the kingdom. That would be much worse. Everyone would lose their cows and enemies would burn the village. For the sake of the village and the cows, he decided to do what was necessary. Gopala heard the sound of horses and immediately hid the silk cover in his lunch bag. A few minutes later, enemy soldiers came riding on horses and asked him, "Did a soldier on a horse come this way?" Gopala said, "A soldier? Here? No, I haven't seen anyone except my cows." The enemy soldiers went away. Gopala took his lunch bag and started running towards the river, leaving his cows behind. He was not worried about them. He knew that when the sun went down, the cows would automatically go home. Gopala's destination was a long distance away and the path was thorny. There was no road and he was worried that someone might follow him. When he came to the river, he knew that he had to swim across. While he was getting ready to jump in, some enemy soldiers came out of the bushes and attacked him with their swords and javelins. Gopala only had a cowherd stick, but he fought bravely and was seriously injured. He did not care about his injuries and jumped into the water. He crossed the river somehow and could barely walk once he reached the shore. He limped a short distance and then saw the neem tree. There he saw the captain waiting. Gopala gave the silk cover to him and then he fell to the ground and died. The message that Gopala delivered was crucial in making an important decision during the battle. Eventually, the king who ruled Gopala's village won. When the king learned that a young lad had sacrificed his life without even being a soldier, he considered him to be a great martyr. The king himself went to Gopala's house and consoled his old mother and pregnant young wife. He told Gopala's wife, "Your loss is irreparable. Your husband sacrificed his life so that we can live in peace." And he gave her a large piece of land exactly where Gopala had died. Madappa paused and continued, "We are his descendants. Over a period of time, we split the land and some of the descendants sold their portions. This portion has come to our family and I will keep it forever. Once a year, we have a festival in Gopala Gola's remembrance, and all his descendants come to the village, no matter where they are. We assemble and conduct a puja for the stone. But Parvati and I come here every day to light a lamp for the great man. Uncle, how does this stone come here and what do these figures mean? Asked Raju. Madappa started explaining. This stone tells us Gopala's story. In the first section, it says that on this particular date, a king who ruled this area appreciated Gopala's martyrdom and gave the land as a gift to show respect for his sacrifice. His family will have sole ownership of this land. How old is this inscription? Around 700 years. The second section shows Gopala fighting with the soldiers. The third section shows that he died and the angels are taking him to his heavenly abode. The fourth section reveals that he has attained a great place in the court of warriors and is enjoying the luxuries there. Finally, the fifth section says that he is a great devotee of Ishvara. The half moon and the sun indicate that this glory will last until the sun and the moon exist. The stone was erected by the captain of the troop so that Gopala's sacrifice is remembered forever. But who told you the story? Rajiv asked. It is not written on the stone. This story has been passed on from generation to generation in our family. Prakash also knows the story. It is his duty to pass it on to his children. If we didn't know the history of our family, then we would not know the value of this land and would have treated it like a commercial property. Now Raju looked at me and nodded his head. I knew that he had got his answer. Do you like this story? Then tell me in the comment box and subscribe our channel.